Once upon a time, there was a poor Kazakh guy. He had only one 3-year-old horse. Every day, he set a trap to survive and hunted for food. One day, when he came to check his snare, he saw that a fox had been caught. The poor man, who had never seen such good prey before, started to grab the fox. But the fox said, "Poor man, leave me alone. I will lead you to your dream." He was spared and freed the fox. In their time, there lived a Khan named Kazakh. The fox came to him and said, "Khan Elibai sent you to give your daughter to his son, and he wanted an answer from you." The Khan said, "I am ready to give my daughter in marriage. In a week's time, come for matchmaking." The fox took the paper of promise from Khan's hands and left. 7 days later, the fox led a poor man with him. It turned out that he did not know how to ride a horse before, but the fox taught him a little how to ride a horse. There was a river running between the Kanate and the owl. The fox crossed the river, but before doing so, she threw all the poor man's old clothes into the water, washed herself, and went to the Khan. She came to the Khan and said, "The cattle, which your future son-in-law was driving, drowned in the river. All the clothes are wet. And your son-in-law, out of all his strength, managed to pull only one horse out of the water by the tail. I have come to tell you this, Khan." The Khan bought a lot of clean clothes and gave them to the fox. The fox carried the clothes away. The poor man put on the clothes given to him by the Khan, rode his horse to the outskirts of the Khan's ale, where the fox sewed him a separate white yurt and led him inside, where a lot of tasty dishes, which he had never seen before, were waiting for him. On this day, the Khan's horses were stolen by enemies, and a messenger with this news arrived in his awl. Then the Khan ordered, "My son-in-law, let him catch up with the enemy on my swift horse and take revenge on my enemy." The fox said, "All right, your son-in-law will take your horses from the enemy." The fox came, filled a cauldron with glue and melted it, tied the saddle to the horse, and glued the poor man to the saddle so that he would not fall down during the race. The swift horse swept the poor man like the wind after the enemies who had stolen the horses. The horse galloped so hard that the poor man was frightened and cried out, "Oi bai!" He saw a young poplar tree ahead and grasped it tightly. But the horse tore the poplar tree from the root. When the enemies he was pursuing looked back, they saw the big tree in his hands. "Will not this man who has torn out the poplar tree from the root kill us with a club? He must be very strong," they said, and leaving the horses behind, ran away. The poor man caught up with the herd of horses and brought them all back to the awl of the Khan. A fox came out in front of the poor man and led him to the owl with a tree. To the Khan's house, he reported to the Khan, "Your son-in-law lost his horse with weapons from the enemy, and since he had no weapons, he tore up a poplar tree with roots, killed the enemy with this tree, and returned with his horses. This is the tree which your son-in-law took in his hand." He pointed to the poplar tree. The Khan became very happy when he saw the poplar and the horses and said, "My son-in-law is strong. I will give my daughter free of charge, without kalim," said the Khan, and arranged a wedding for a few days. He gave 40 red camels as dowry, gave gold and silver, and gave his daughter in marriage. On the way home, the poor man asked the fox, "Shall we go to my poor little house?" The fox said, "Shut up," and went ahead a day's journey. "I will prepare a house for you," said the fox. In those parts there lived a Zhdirnak witch, an old woman with copper claws, and the fox came to her and said, "5 giants are coming to kill you. Hide." The old woman listened to the fox, was frightened, and ran away. The old witch woman's house was rich. It had lots of silver and rooms. The fox cleaned up the house, spread different carpets in it, hired servants, and went out in front of the wedding caravan, met them with honor, and played the wedding. That's how the guy achieved his dream, thanks to the fox's rescue.